I'm going to show you how to lay out farms for birch, beech, and oak wood, which are ways for you to get lightwood, softwood, and hardwood. Alrighty, this is what the layout for the birch farm will look like. Every aqua stone here is going to be the station where you'll want to plant your tree. So this is where you'd build up your dirt and then plant said tree. You're going to want to have each of these tree stations going along this way 6 blocks apart, shown in the black and white here. But then when you get to the next row, you'll notice it's shifted to the side a bit. And so basically the next tree spot in the next row is going to be 4 blocks away in this direction. And then it's going to be shifted 4 blocks from this tree station. So if you're building a new one, you place on your first one. And then you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Place on your next one next to it. But then you count back here. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. You can place a temporary guide block if you want. But then from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there, you place the tree station block. And then you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there you go. You got the pattern. And you can scale this and shape it however you want. Actually using this farm, you're going to want to place 4 dirt blocks above each station. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And once you've done that, you just start planting your saplings on top of the dirt. And if you're new to tree planting, you might be like, why are we putting these trees so high up in the air? Well, that's because trees grow with roots. So for example, this tree was, I believe, planted around here on this dirt block, or I can't remember where I planted this. But then roots grew down lower beneath where you plant it. And so if you just planted it straight on the ground here, the roots would go in here, delete some of the dirt blocks, and then you'd have logs in the ground. I'm sure you've noticed this site when you've chopped down like trees out in the wild. But just fine to leave these in the ground when you're just more casually chopping down trees in the wild. But if you're bothering to make a tree farm, like what we have going on over here, you're going to be wanting every single log you can get a hold of. And so that's why we want to build up the tree higher up in the air so no logs are going into the ground, and so you can more easily harvest all the logs and not have to replace holes in your ground constantly. And speaking of replacing dirt, pillaring all this up costs you a lot of dirt. And if you're like me, you might want to reclaim some of that dirt if you're in survival mode. So just re-dig up all the dirt underneath here. Dirt is plentiful and you don't have to do this step, but you will go through a lot of your dirt very quickly if you skip this. And you just wait for time to pass, and then they shall grow. And as far as I can tell, this is the biggest the birch trees can get, where they will extend out like in 2 directions here and have their thicker trunk. And with this pattern, through my testing, this was the pattern I was able to find where I can have it as compact as possible, but have every single birch tree grow to this biggest state as possible. And then harvesting is very easy, because when you're ready to harvest, you just take your axe and mine the block underneath here. Ooh, and all the tree comes falling down. You just do that for every single tree. You just get rid of the 1 log and it all goes kablooey. Now, of course, you want to be careful about having blocks like near here built up, because then there's a chance that like a log could end up being on top of this, and then you'll have to destroy more logs. But if it's like a stone or a type of block that the logs can't destroy when growing, then there's also a chance that you could be impeding its growth. And a quick note to those who have seen my redwood tree farm, you would have noticed how with the birch trees, we had them fully grow and touch the platform. But with redwood trees, we have it floating. And that's because the birch tree, the bottom log is only a singular wood. So it grows something like this, maybe like this. And so it's very easy when it's a singular log there, because you just break this log and it all comes tumbling down. The issue with the redwood is that it's more than one singular log that is at the bottom. It would grow like this. And if all these logs are touching a ground or a block, then you have to mine most of the blocks for it all to come tumbling down. But with the redwood here, since we have a floating 1 block, I just break 1 block and it all comes tumbling down. Now, I will share, if you don't really like the awkwardness of trying to do these shifting rows in this pattern, You can do this grid pattern over here. It's less space efficient, so it takes up more space, but it'll give you the same results of the trees fully growing. And so for this, it's just a simple 6 blocks apart here in every direction and just follow it as a grid. Also ignore the 5 blocks in the air here thing. Ignore that part. Oh, and one quick thing in case I get comments about it. These signs that have writing on them, although in a weird holographic way, it's a mod, as you can guess, since I know a lot of people have been trying to write signs in vanilla and they just can't write on the signs. That's because vanilla doesn't have that functionality yet, but hopefully they'll add it soon. But until then, I'll be using a mod like this just to help me write down information. Now moving on to beech, this is the pattern I came up with. So this is another shifted row pattern, since that seems to be on average the best way to compact this tree sometimes. But every tree still has different restrictions for optimal growth, and so this is still slightly different from the birch pattern over there. So you have your tree growing station and pod and whatever we're calling this, and you're going to want to put them 10 blocks apart going in this direction. And then the rows are going to be 5 blocks apart. And then you can say the shift kind of starts on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 5th block, going from like left to right on the 5th block, facing it this way. This is where you then will go 5 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and place your tree station. Or another way to look at it is you can go from this tree station, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you're over here, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then place it. Whichever way makes more sense for you. And then you can just continue out the pattern in this direction to the right, forward, back, and you grow all these patterns however you want. For beech, I recommend putting your dirt 3 blocks in the air. Dig back the dirt underneath if you want to reclaim it. And then we plant our beech saplings. And then we let the passage of time pass by over us. And I believe they are fully grown now. And yeah, so this pattern should get every tree pretty much fully grown, I believe. And in as compact of a space as I could figure out. And similarly to the birch there, since it's just 1 block touching the ground or another block, you just mine that bottom one and it all comes tumbling down. Now, if you wanted the pattern to be just simpler in a grid format, this is what you'd have to do. It's way less space efficient. This takes up a lot of space because you're going to have to make it 10 blocks apart in both directions. But this one, compared to the space efficiency of the shifted pattern here, is pretty bad because you're doubling this right here. Because this is 5 blocks here. You're basically doubling it to make the grid part work. As you can probably guess, the main reason why beech needs 10 blocks apart sometimes to grow comparatively to the birch, even though this trunk is way skinnier than the birch, is simply because of the tree canopy up here. As we see in this beech tree, it just spreads out way more wider than the birch tree canopy, and so requires a different pattern and requires more spacing in general. And then finally moving on to what I think is most people's favorite simple tree. I mean, it's probably not, I don't know. I pulled that statistic out of nowhere. That's not real. Don't listen to me. But is the oak. Wait, that's beech. The oak tree. And I did not make this pattern at all. 0 credit goes to me at all. Because someone else by the name of Chargo, I don't know. I'm so bad at pronouncing usernames. And I think I misspelled design. I am awful with the English language, even though it's my first. Okay, regardless. But Chargu, on the Hytale Discord server, came up with this oak tree design. And I tested it myself. I tried seeing if I can come up with a more compact version. But I think they did their thorough testing, because I couldn't find a better version of this design. This design seems to work very well if you want to get the biggest version of the oak tree. Now, you could compact this even more if you don't want the oak tree to grow super big. And if you need a reminder, this is what a fully grown oak tree looks like. Its roots spread out really wide. It has a tree canopy that's also very wide. and you can get a lot of logs from this bad boy. Yeah, so if you don't want the biggest version, you can make the farm smaller, which maybe if we try doing some math, if you're trying to go like logs per space ratio or whatever, then maybe that could be better. I don't know. But I think having the big oak trees is more fun. So I'll show you how to use their pattern here, or how to build their pattern. So you have your tree station here, and you would build the next tree station in front of it about, what is it, 23 blocks away. So you got your tree station right here, and then you'd count 23 blocks in this direction and place another tree station. And to figure out where your other tree stations go in this kind of diamond pattern, it's just count 11 blocks this way, and then you'll hit the center at the 12th block, the center between both of these stations. And then you just count 11 in this direction, plop down your guy there, and 11 in this direction, plop down your guy there. And there you go, you got your pattern. And then when it comes to how high to place your dirt, well, it varies. Because if you place your tree platforms like above the ground, like I do here, instead of inside the ground. So like here's your tree planter marker inside the ground, and then here's this above the ground. If you do it how I do it here above the ground, then I would recommend a dirt stack of 5 tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you are planning on building it into the ground like this, then I would recommend a dirt stack of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see this ends up at the same height here. And that's for very specific reasons. And I will just show you right here, actually. I'll grow the tree here. Oh, they already fully grew. And now we got fog. Thanks. Fog is... Oh, and rain. This is awful for recording. All right, now that the fog is clear, I can show you what I'm talking about. You see how the roots, even the longest root that goes down here, will still, no matter what, always be floating above the ground here. And that is so you can easily tear down the roots. Imagine this dirt wasn't here. Imagine we reclaimed the dirt already. Yeah, you can just go around, break that, and eventually the whole tree will fall down. But if you plant your tree planting marker into the ground, so it's like level with the ground, I suggest 6 blocks above it so that you have the same effect here, so that all the roots are 1 block above the ground, just for easier destroying, pretty much. You can choose to do it however you want, of course. I just, for some reason, like having the platforms above the ground. That's just a me thing. That goes for all these, by the way, like, and also my previous redwood farm video. You do not need to place the platforms above the ground. That's just what I do. You can have them dug into the ground just in case someone felt like they had to have it above the ground. You could do this and have that be your marker to do whatever you want. And on the topic of do whatever you want, here's an example of how you could scale it. So this is just keeping the diamond shape. You can just keep scaling it. So this is the original diamond shape pattern, and then we just extended it off to the left, right, up and down. But you don't have to have it be a diamond shape. Remember, you have free will. As long as the tree planting stations are properly spaced away from each other, you can make it more of a like square shape like this. You can extend it in just one direction, make it more rectangular, like a lot more of my examples over there. Do whatever the heck you want. And that'll do it for showing you how to farm birch trees, how to farm beech trees, and how to farm oak trees. Again, thank you so much for the oak pattern designed by Chargu. I might try and figure out more patterns for other tree types. I've been very tight on my free time recently, so I'll see if I get around to that. But feel 100% free like Chargu here and figure out some of the patterns yourself. Do some fun experimenting. Grow the tree science in the community, and also maybe try and experiment with other parts of the games. Do testing. Let's grow the creative thinking community, the inquisiting community for Hytale. We need more people just messing around with stupid crap like this. Again, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another video. Bye bye.